Hello and welcome to a very special segment today. Is the packaged food you consume safe? What really are recent studies reflecting? We have heard of these theories earlier, but studies as recent as a week ago are saying the same thing all over again. What really are they stating? As per a latest report, global packaged food giants are selling less healthy products in low middle income countries. Products sold by multinationals in India scored between zero point 0.6 and 3.1. And remember, products with scores above 3.5 are considered healthier according to this index. In low middle income countries, the average score for food products is 1.8 versus 2.3 in high income countries. The report also states that MNCs are deriving more revenue from low and middle income countries. Companies were assessed on the basis of nutrient profile models, portfolio improvement. Companies were also assessed on responsible labeling and marketing. While India's food regulator is working to enforce declaration of nutritional information at large, experts believe there is now a need more than ever before for clearer definition of what really constitutes unhealthy versus healthy food. And this, of course, is a global index published by non-profit group Access to Nutrition Initiative. This is a recent study. To decode this further, I'm joined by Revant Himatsingka, food safety and campaigner at large, and someone who's also an influencer as far as food safety and norms are concerned. Thank you so much for joining us, Revant.
Thank you so much for having me.
First, this report is reiterating what we have always sort of been seeing across studies over the years, over the past few months, but now something as recent as just a week ago is also stating that global packaged food giants are selling less healthy products in low middle income countries. What is your first reaction when you're seeing that, after all the awareness, like someone like you is trying to spread, that this is still largely prevalent across corporates?
Yeah, I'm not surprised, to be very honest, because any change which happens takes several years. So, yes, while I may be raising awareness, it will take many, many, many years for the actual ground level changes to come by. And there are several reasons why the companies are doing this, not just any one reason. There are three broad reasons which I think of. One is, of course, the income in India is also lower, so the purchasing power of Indians are lower, so they put slightly cheaper ingredients. Two is the regulation is not strong enough, so companies feel they can get away with anything. Like when the same product when they're selling in Europe or in the US, they're very careful with what they're selling to follow the norms. In India, they feel like they can get away with anything, so they don't pay as much attention to the norms and regulations here. And three, there is a lack of consumer awareness. So there is no incentive for for companies to give us better quality food, because even if they were giving us better quality food, people don't even know what is better, what is good, and what is bad, so they wouldn't even pay for it. People don't even understand what is healthier and not. So which is why I'm trying to get people to read the label so that they can find out, and then they can pay a higher price for what is actually good. So I think these are three reasons why I feel this problem is happening.
Right. Awareness really is key here. And, like we were discussing this amongst colleagues just a short while ago, so e-commerce platforms, quick commerce platforms are now also, sort of your global packaged food giants are also easily available on all your quick commerce platforms, right? If you are in an urgent need to have your, drink or beverage or your food that you want a snack option, a very quick snack option at that, it is now a trend emerging. Right now, how do you know, as far as the labeling is concerned, like you were saying, what is healthy and what is unhealthy? And is there now also, like many experts are suggesting, then a need for clearer definition at large for what is healthy and what is unhealthy?
See, the last question you asked is very difficult because you get two different nutritionists, and even they'll not agree on what is healthy and what is unhealthy. You get the world's best nutritionist, and they'll someone will say X and someone will say Y. So that is very difficult to do. And but yes, there is with quick commerce and all the other e-commerce players, um, there already is they are required to put the nutrition label clearly. So I feel they can do an even better job in calling out what is sometimes they have pictures missing. I'm looking for products but they don't have the nutrition label and things like that, so they can do a better job with that, and there can be stricter regulations around that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And one other point about e-commerce I want to say, and quick commerce specifically, I feel quick commerce has both negatives and positives. The negatives, of course, is that it makes it very easy to buy junk. Like, you're craving an ice cream and you just buy the ice cream. But the advantage is that it makes it easy for smaller companies to build a distribution. Earlier, small companies get scared to enter the foods industry because they're like, I don't have the bandwidth to place myself in 20,000 stores. But through quick commerce, they can do it through them. So I think the big companies are now facing competition with all the small, healthier companies. So in 3 4 5 years time, I think we'll see so many more new, healthier companies come by, which will give all the big MNCs a run for their money.
Right, that's very interesting. As people are gradually becoming more and more aware, like you're saying, it is also giving smaller players or unknown players who are looking at healthy options a chance on each and every platform. So that's one positive for sure that is emerging. But with what is happening as far as these recent reports emerging, is it then a wake up call for all corporates and governments to react and all food regulators to sort of rethink on the checks that are being conducted?
100%. And on the pun on checks, but like, not only the checks, but even the amount of money in terms of that other check of that they're giving into the food space, because I feel they need to give more and more money into the food inspector bodies and FSSAI and things like that, so that they have better team. Like, right now they don't, I feel like they don't have enough resources and funds to actually do a very, like, for working with 140 crore people. So
Mhm.
100% it's a wake up call for India and the food sector in as a large, because this is there can be nothing more important than the food we eat in terms of priority for Indians. So we need to take this very, very seriously, because we can be a thriving population in terms of economics only if we are healthy, and we clearly are not right now. So this is a very, very big priority, and I feel like it's not given priority by not only the government but even the people. People sometimes, like, they would rather see some sports first, like in some. I don't want to make a specific statement, but like, they would rather see other things being prioritized over this.
Right. We're not getting into specifics like you and I decided, but we are discussing the larger issue really. And like you said, this really needs to come into center stage, priority, awareness, all kinds of checks, really the need of the hour. And like you really said, it's not just about, a wake up call for corporates and governments, and, it's also for individuals at large, right? Because people are sort of, selectively sometimes health conscious, right, selectively looking at labeling. So it's also, somewhere, like you said, the responsibility lies with everyone. But I'd like to end, Revant, by, you sharing, some lessons really that all can learn as someone who is on a day-to-day basis tracking this space very closely, as a food safety campaigner. What are the lessons really that, individuals can be mindful of, to immediately go ahead with?
I mean, one thing which I've repeated over and over is just start reading the labels. So when people go to a clothing store, they spend 1 hour to buy a dress which they wear 10 times in a year. But when they go to buy a biscuit, they take like 2 minutes to buy the biscuit. So, and if you eat two biscuits in a day, you're eating 750 biscuits in a year. So the point is, start reading the labels and find out what is good for you and what is not good for you. And some quick pointers is that usually products with large number of ingredients are not good for you. So I keep repeating this one line: longer the ingredient list, longer the medication list. So try to buy products with shorter ingredient lists. Another is, try to buy products like, with shorter expiry dates. So for example, because they're usually more fresh. So I say this one line again as well: longer the expiry date, sooner our expiry date, because the product has even more preservatives. So there are some key points we can keep in mind while buying products, is like just being actively trying to read the label and make the better choice for ourselves, and that's what we can do.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And needless to say, the global packaged food industry is contributing significantly to global GDP. And like he said, there are, of course, areas that one can look at positively as well, with, more health conscious brands emerging and so on. But awareness really and the checks to be done as diligently as possible, as transparently as possible, really the need of the hour. Thank you so much, Ravens, for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you so much.